Today in our feature story, we visit with the Pallotine Sisters and sit down to hear this beautiful journey as they collaborated to build their faith building. After approximately 3 years of construction, the new and improved Pallotine Convent was finally blessed by Bishop Lawrence to indicate its official opening.
Do your work, living your will. Our Father,
who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil.
The 2-story building features a chapel, a community room, a meeting room, and bedrooms to accommodate the Pallotine Sisters who currently reside at the convent. The convent was built in lieu of the old convent that was slowly collapsing. We sat down with 2 Pallotine sisters who explained.
After we were living in the old convent, we noticed that the building was sinking and going towards the infirmary. And we had different people coming to assess. And in what year it was?
That was in
2017. They said that the building was sinking and it was coming towards the infirmary. It was leaning towards the infirmary. And several people said, no, it won't sink anymore. All houses in Belize sink. But then as it kept coming, when you were walking down, you felt as though you were walking down a hill. And finally, they said it was better that this be demolished, because if it falls on the infirmary, it will hurt another building.
And also the ceiling was, the whole roof was getting, staying on top, and the building itself was going down. So you can see the sky on the side of when it was going, and so, it was very dangerous.
You see, for Hurricane Hattie, we lost the
whole roof.
And they put a roof over the building, but the roof came from the ground. It was not onto the building. So the building was sinking and the roof was staying up there like an umbrella. Okay. And so they said we had to demolish that. It was not safe.
The decision to demolish the old 3-floor convent to build a new one was made, although there was quite a bit of doubt as to where the funds to undertake such a task would come from.
It was our home. Nowhere could we get that money to put back one. We said, how long would it take to take out all this, to devastate all this? Oh, that was a nightmare. That was really a nightmare for all of us. But it was something that we just simply had to hold our hands together and make a step forward. And that is where friends of Palloti, it's about 12 of them that came to our assistance, and they worked with us, and it was a tremendous team. All graduates of Palloti with one young man.
And at that point, we didn't know what to do because we didn't have anywhere to go. It was a 3-story building that we had to, dislodge all the things from there. We didn't know what to do, so we had a meeting, an emergency meeting, to see what we are going to do. And as sisters say, we had a meeting with 2 facilitators at the time.
2 ladies.
One lady and a man, Mr. Belisario and Miss Sandra. And after the emergency meeting, we said we had to do something. So Miss Sandra, who was one of the facilitators, she decided that we would try to have a meeting, and that's where the Friends of Palloti came in. And so when we started with that, we said we had to have a financial group to try to raise funds because we didn't know where we will get the money to build a building, you know. First of all, we had to demolish. And that in itself would have taken up some money. So we had these people, as Sister mentioned, and they were all, at first it was a small group, but then they start to, decide, we can have this one and we can have this one, until we had about 12 or 13 of them that formed the Friends of Palloti. And the first big was the telethon. The first fundraiser was the telethon, which was on the 26th of August, 2017. 26th of August, and that was the first big that we had.
But you know what? God was with us every step of the way. For the first two lay people that we called in as a community, and we said, we were so devastated. I think we were not even walking straight, and we said we need help outside of people who are not that personally touched. And we asked Sandra and Mr. Bellis Carvalho. Now one lives in Orange Walk and one lives in Greens. They didn't know each other. And in that first meeting, those two people quoted the same text of the Bible. They were on the same stream. And after the meeting, we said, did you all speak to bring on the table the same thing? And they said, no, Sister Sandra says, I didn't even know him. And we said, no, this is from God. Then we cannot peace like it. Give us courage. And so we started off step by step.
And we can see, that throughout the building, because the building is just finishing, and not quite finished as yet. But anytime, we get very antsy because we don't have enough money. Somebody will send something, or we would have people say, we are getting the money, they will wire the money, it didn't come, and we have to we owe the contractor, we have to give a certain amount of money, and it's not here. And believe it or not, the next thing we know, it's coming to the end. That's why we say, God work in His own time. We can't push it, we can't do anything, but wait until He is ready and pray.
And faith, you need faith, because how are you going to tell this man you don't have
the money to
work? It's
really a faith building, because all the Pallotines throughout the world were a part of our help, and they got from businesses that they know, people in their country who helped towards the building.
And they did little fundraising in their country.
We did our own fundraising. We didn't stop. We had
tea parties,
the extravaganza. We had we sell clothes. We sell different things. We had white elephant sale. We had for September 14th, where they had the at Marian Jones' place. We had a booth there. Expo.
Yes.
And so we had, we took part in everything that we could make some kind of money to help with the building.
In the meantime, the Pallotine Sisters needed a place to stay and store their stuff. Providentially, the sisters settled in a little area near the convent and asked for a makeshift storage room to be built, where most of the things that were in the old convent would be kept.
So there are so many things we have learned. And the first time we saw that God was a big part of this whole thing, we had the downstairs of our building, our infirmary. We had rooms, we built rooms for the poor girls in our school who had nowhere to stay. We had girls from school who had nowhere to stay, and so at a low cost, we used to rent out rooms to them that they can stay the week, and then they would go home weekend. And when this building started then we had to say, I'm sorry, but we don't have any place to go, so we had to use the rooms. So we had been using those rooms, which were small, but that's where we, for the past 3 years, almost 3 years, when it was demolished at the end of 2017 until now. But as I said, God prepared us,
What seemed like a tragedy at the beginning eventually flourished into a huge blessing for the Pallotine Sisters, who were so thankful to God and all those who collaborated in this huge venture. One such person was a contractor, Mr. Sheldon Mahung.
We had to stop the building for one time. We had to stop it because we didn't have the money, and we said, we don't want to owe you so much money. And so, but he was excellent. He was so considerate. I tell you, I would recommend him, and he was so transparent, So we have to say that we would recommend him to anybody who wants to do a building, because he is not, if you don't have money, well, you don't. But he said, no, sister, I will go on, and I will do this, and I will do that.
How do you feel that it's finished? It's amazing. That's all I can say.
And it's unique because of the elderly sisters, the contractor said, I will make a ramp that you don't have steps to walk up. And it's unusual, but it's really nice, isn't it?
Yes, it's beautiful.
One lady came in here and said, sister, this is a building, it's an art.
Yes.
It's really a work of art.
And you know what? Sister Josefina taught the contractor when he was 5 years old in Punta Gorda.
When we got, I knew him as a little boy. So when we got him, he sent me, when they had in kindergarten graduation, I was the one who gave the talk to the babies, and I gave out their certificate. So he sent me the picture when his little hand was up like this for his certificate.
The sisters' reaction to the new Palloti convent was one of astonishment, something that has certainly ignited their faith in God and His unfailing kindness.
I would say that whatever you want to achieve in life, if you place it in God's hands and you walk with Him, all things are possible with God.
But the thing is, we have to wait until, it's His time. Because God works in His own time. But that means your relationship with Him has to be firm.
And faith.
And faith, believe. So that when things happen and it doesn't happen in our time, we can say, thank you, God, I know you are not ready. And you feel a peace in your heart because He's working, but He's working with His time. And so that faith gives you peace.
God continues to faithfully provide for all who He has called in His service.